Hey everyone, welcome to the Kosher Intuitive. Hope you're having an amazing Tuesday night. This is your hostess, Yael Meisels. We're going to talk tonight about some of the things going on in the news, such as the the release of the government talking to us about some UFOs. Your girl's got some theories. Um, as much as people are really interested to hear the Mark Zuckerberg episode and what the energy suggests, we're not going to get into that in this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about aliens. Um, speaking of Mark Zuckerberg, I don't know if he's an alien. That's an insult to aliens and people. I don't know what that creature is, but in any event, his wife's birthday came to me. I think it was, gosh, today. I was thinking of God awful Mark Zuckerberg, and then I thought of the 24th of February, and I Googled it, and I was like, oh, sure as shit, that's Priscilla Chan's birthday. So we're not going to talk about our what the energy says about the Zuckerberg Chan clan this evening, but we are going to talk about what the energy says a little bit about the UFO, UAP, flying aerial phenomena photos that have come out. And I'm going to share some things that have happened so many times in my career as a coach that while I can personally tell you, all right, that Yael, your girl, your person, right, has never seen what I believe to be of a UAP, a UFO, or an alien. I haven't, but where I become a very big believer is I do know what I charge as a life coach. It's a lot. It's for those of you who are familiar with the services offered at the Kosher Intuitive. My services at full price start at 350 for the first initial clearing. All right, that's expensive. Now, I'm not bringing that up to boast or say, oh, haha, look what I charge. No, I do very high level intuitive, clairvoyant energy coaching and healing, and serious life coaching. So this is a very, very serious job. And the reason I bring up the price is because when people are paying for something, when they're paying to be heard, right? Which is what's happening in a life coaching session, even though you're not treating it like talk therapy because you're not a therapist. Um, there's a lot of conversation and you want clarification on things that you don't understand about yourself, your experiences, whatever the case may be. And I have just had too many. And like, listen, ladies and gentlemen, while I do ascribe to it as a Torah Orthodox observing Jew, right? I do ascribe to that. You guys know I'm not the firmest kid on the block. I mean, I'm Shomer Shabbos, I'm Shomer Kashrut, nothing like that. But I'm saying, look how I'm dressed. I have, an overalls outfit on today, that's slacks. I'm not, I'm plenty modern Orthodox. And I have had clients that are far more orthodox in appearance, in observance of dress and things than I am, tell me in their paid sessions about encounters with what they believe could be spacecraft, what they believe to be aliens or could have been aliens. And as an intuitive clairvoyant who's hearing the information and like filtering it, I do pick up that these are factual things. This person is saying something that they 100% believe to be the truth. And in a clairvoyant state of mind, when I look into what the energy says, excuse me, I have no reason to argue, excuse me, with what the energy says, which is usually that this person did have said encounter oftentimes with what they thought it was. Sometimes it turns out to have been a ghost. But there have been times that I've gotten validation with intuition that it was an extraterrestrial encounter. Now, I don't believe I've ever had one. Like I said, I have clients who've said to me for over 20 years. And I've even had clients who, like, I promise you, on my life, you guys, have been like so afraid to disclose certain pieces of information because they are so like afraid of being felt like or looked at as crazy or this or that or something. And I'm like, listen, when you deal with the L Meisels at the Kosher Intuitive, you are dealing with the Ghostbusters, okay? You are dealing with someone who has dedicated my entire life to the Jewish understanding of the paranormal, supernatural, and things that go bump in the night, right? I've dedicated my life to this, okay? So when you share your supernatural concerns, fears, what have you with me, I'm taking you like very seriously because I know unless you were really, mentally ill, which is something I would come to, I would discover in an in a consultation after reviewing your paperwork. If I felt that, excuse me, which this has happened, only I can count on one time the amount of times, excuse me, I can count on one time the amount of times in my life where I felt like, on one hand, rather, I meant to say, the amount of clients I've turned down because I felt like they were mentally not in a good frame of mind. I've only turned down a few. But that has actually never had anything to do with anything that comes up in the consultation that would be considered weird. Um, but I've dedicated my life to this. So when people come to me with these kinds of claims, whether they're about ghosts, demons, angels, aliens, you name it. I take these claims very seriously because I know if you're paying me $350, excuse me, to have this conversation, this is serious. And that's why I take it very seriously. I'm not having, and I can't drive that point home, is that this information is not coming out when I'm conversing for free with my peers. This is coming out when I am in paid sessions with people from all over the world. I've had interesting stories told to me about Stonehenge. Just wow. And listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think, and what will like what the energy suggests, and what I believe will come out in the next very near future is that our God, Yud Hey Vav Hey Hashem, the Rabbana Shalom, the great I am, the 72 name God, and you shall know my name is the Lord. For the Old Testament God, that God, right? So I think that God is the God of like everybody. Okay. And this is I think this because this is what the energy suggests. I'm not making any wild claims here. I'm telling you what the energy suggests to me and what the energy, what comes through with the energy with all of these, the government releasing these files. Um, I think this is happening because I've said for a long time, I think there's being a shift in power from like a big, bad, yucky cabal where there probably was, and I am sure there was ugly lizard creature, Illuminati, Satan, child eating shit, raping, and all sorts of grotesque evil, Amakshimo. I'm sure that was heavily involved in the government. Um, I do feel like there's a lot of hope because even as a clairvoyant, and again, I'm not the firmest kid on the block. I have always believed in the Messiah, even before I was Jewish. Um, so I'm saying I've always believed in the Jewish Messiah my whole life. Like that this is since I learned what Jews were when I was like 7 years old. I was 7. So, anyways, what the energy suggests and what I pick up and several people that I know have picked up that are on the clear sciences spectrum, is that these beings, these aliens, I call them alien humanity, because if it's a creation of our creator, it's, it's human in some regard, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Hashem's creations. And just like you have good and bad people, I think you have good and bad alien people. And I think that we really are seeing a war of good versus evil. And I think that the Jewish Messiah is imminent. The arrival of Mashiach is imminent. I don't need to be a rabbi with a beard to the floor to tell you how real Mashiach is. I'm serious, you guys. If you believe nothing I say, believe this. The Messiah of Israel and the God of Israel, totally real. Totally real. Believe. Wait for it. As you know, good evening, Michelle. So I'm telling you, you guys, the Messiah is real. That's just not, it's not a metaphor for something. It's not indicative of an era of peace without a leader. Oh no. And I think what the energy suggests is that we're seeing a shift in power from an evil cabal to what I believe to be the throne of David. I've said ad nauseum, I actually think the CIA, Mossad, FBI, Interpol, Europe government, whatever the hell, right? I think every government alive, down to the throne of Saudi Arabia, may Saudi Arabia be flipped on its head for all the bullshit, but no, there is a Jewish Messiah. And one of the reasons I think this is global information in the government is not only do I dream about it, it comes in visions. A lot of things have come in visions that I've seen later in conspiracy theories. Some of them have been verified to be not conspiracy theories, so I guess we'll see. But what comes through very much to me is that the government is very likely what I believe aware of who the Jewish Messiah is. I think the government has made that information has made its way to the government, and I think we are seeing a government shift in power of an evil cabal to the throne of David, governed by the Messiah of Israel, who's here to save everybody good, who's loved God and done with, the people that are not abominable and evil. And what also I picked up many times in meditation, and it comes through again now, is I see what looks like almost like like the good guys who are fighting this war on earth, which we know is Gog and Magog, and what I actually believe we are now like in tier 2 of Gog and Magog. And what comes through in my mind is 3 tiers of Gog and Magog. I think tier 1 has ended. I think tier 2 is where the action begins, where we're going to see visible involvement from Hashem. Listen, this is what the energy suggests. If chas v'shalom, none of this happens. Listen, I'm not telling you anything different that I've seen in my visions that differentiate. And being honest with you guys, I promise you, hand to God, give you my word. In who? Our favorite Navi, the book of Yehezkel, the book of Ezekiel. I have been saying for 20 years that we are living in 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 the pages of the book of Ezekiel. You guys, I've been saying it for 20 years. And it just becomes more and more relevant and clear as day as the days go by. I mean, well, you want to talk about the missing scientists for a second? Let's talk about those missing scientists. I'm going to tell you what the energy suggests intuitively, what I believe is possible here. Okay. There are beings, you guys, I'm just telling you what's come through in visions, meditations, And I'm letting you know that I run a results-based business. So I'm inclined to believe what I see in visions and meditations based on my track record. So I want to just put that out there. And that's not coming from a place of arrogance, God forbid. That's coming from a place of high levels of accuracy. So I do want to make that very clear, that I say these things so confidently because I've seen visions many, many, many times over come into fruition in real time, in tangible life. And I'm like, oh, holy crap. And I think it's time to, take a look and say, like, it's a good time to take a look outside and say, holy smokes. All right. Like, the Messiah is here, you guys. Read Ezekiel. Judgment is here for like everybody. And I think we are so even seeing that judgment has come for everyone because everyone I know is getting it. My business, the Kosher Intuitive, every time I cannot tell you how many amazing people are like, why is God punishing me? I'm like, yo, God is actually not punishing you for real. This is like sound the alarm, blow the shofar. This is like the real deal, the geula, like the end, the real conclusion of the Jewish exile. If I'm right and the things that I see in my meditations are accurate, we are really, really b'mizrat Hashem talking about the total miracle of seeing the Beis Hamikdash just poof in a pillar of fire. And, really, like we're really at the point where like we are going to see Hashem's wonder, I believe, flip us on our head. You know what I mean? And like I think it just makes sense. Like, you guys, have you ever seen the Sultan of Saudi Arabia assisting Israel in like just about anything? Do you really think this is political? Really? You think the Sultan of Saudi Arabia is so interested in being politically accurate that he decided to start helping the Israelis and the Americans in the war against Iran? I'm in a level with you guys. I think the only reason the Saudi government is participating in the war with Iran is because they are fully aware of what is about to come to earth in a pillar of fire and smoke. I do love Palo Santo. I get the thinner ones because they're easier to burn. I really love the smell, and it's great for certain kinds of clearings. And I've got a absolutely adorable little sandalwood cone burning. So I've got my incense going. Listen, you guys, the government is lying to us again when they say, oh, and we don't know what it is. Like, you know what it is. Cut the shit. You know, I really think there is such a battle. Like, guys, let me just also point out something else. And anybody who knows me knows I am not an overtly, um, I am not an overtly political person. I've always said and will continue to stand on that I believe that the Messiah of Israel will come save us all and govern the land, and that nobody other than that individual is who I want to see. But in any event, um, the Trumps have just been on their best behavior. Have you noticed that, like, he got in there and he's taking the priorities that, are important to him. He's not grabbing anybody by the pussy. He's showing respect to his wife. Now, listen, I'm not telling you to like Donald Trump. I'm not making any personal opinions here about Donald Trump. I'm not. I'm not. Okay. I'm pointing out something that I have observed. Okay. He's seemingly more tame and behaved as if aware of something than he was in his last term. Like, I think Donald Trump totally knows, and so does Benjamin and Netanyahu, and I think they're probably shaking in their boots that the Messiah of Israel is here, and they are going to have to step down and be governed by Mashiach. Now, I don't know that that would be horrible news for either Benjamin and Netanyahu or Donald Trump. I guess we're about to find out if I'm right, which I think I am. And you guys, I'm going to tell you something. My business, the Kosher Intuitive, is not about psychic predictions of the future, as I've said in a podcast I was on recently, the Purgatory Club. I'm not Madame Zelda. I do not have a crystal ball, okay? I don't. Um, but the government's telling us about aliens. And I think the government is preparing for the New World Order of the Order of the Messiah and the Messianic era. I don't think for a minute, you guys, the New World Order is this evil cabal. Like, I think we were governed and ran under an evil cabal. Like, I've had periodically throughout my life, and excuse me, during a Kundalini awakening that was simultaneously a nervous breakdown 7 years ago. And if you don't know what a Kundalini awakening is, Google it. That's what happened to me. It was the worst case of a Kundalini awakening I've ever experienced was truly my own. And I was having all of these psychic storms of like these lizard people eating people and raping children. I thought it was literally mamash out of my mind. All right, you guys. I was, it was a doozy. I was hospitalized, thank God. I was able to get excellent mental health care out of the hospital. Hospitalization was a terrible idea, but my therapist and psychiatrist now are amazing. Um, but it was horrendous. And now we have allegations like one of the Epstein victims, like you guys have to realize these women have been through horrendous shit, right? They've been through hell. And I believe one, if not two, and I know other people have come forward and said that like they've seen Jeffrey Epstein try to shapeshift. So listen, I don't know what aliens do. Maybe this is what they do, but as I said on the podcast, the Purgatory Club, he asked me where do I think reptilians that are eating people and what have you, where do I think they come from? Egypt. I think they're a creation of Pharaoh, and a Makshimo to the whole business. Because in the time of Messiah, if anything I've seen in my head is correct, Egypt in all it encumbers will burn entirely to the ground. Like there will not be an Egypt anymore. And listen, I am not saying that for any personal bias. I actually kind of wanted to see the coral reef in Egypt. So too bad for me. Hopefully there's still a coral reef for me to see after the Egyptian renovation, should it come to pass, which again, I've seen maps of what people have said, what the world is going to look like after this awakening, this enlightening. And I'm telling you, I see the same thing after the reveal of the Messiah of Israel. And one of the saddest things is that so many people that are not Jewish think, God forbid, Mashiach is the Antichrist. Christians have said this, that they actually think that our Messiah, Mashiach, is such a thing. God forbid. That is insanity. The Messiah that's coming to save all of us is coming to save everybody good. And Rabbi Mizrahi, Yosef Mizrahi, who was talking, who, first of all, can someone do something about this man? Like, this is too much, okay? Like I'm not going to go off on a tangent on Yosef Mizrahi, but the guy's out of his fucking mind, okay? He was saying in a shir that I saw a few weeks back, and it wasn't a shir I deliberately watched. It was someone criticizing him, thank God. But he was basically saying, and this man is just so disgusting. The women he cheats on his wife with even come forward to say what a piece of shit he is. So it's like if these women are willing to look like pigs themselves and say, yeah, I let this man fuck me, they're obviously willing to throw themselves on the sword because this man is really disgusting. He is that gross. Anyway, he's talking all this crap about how Christians who love God and take care of their families and all of this aren't holy and all. You stop. That is such garbage. And the average Christian family, believe me when I tell you, is holier in spades to God than Amak Shemo Yosef Mizrahi, the alleged rabbi, on his alleged holiest day. Judgment Day is here for you, Rabbi. Read Ezekiel. You're fucked. Anyway, um, there's too much here. And like I spoke to a girlfriend of mine who I love to pieces, but she cannot deviate an opinion beyond what a rabbi has told her is allowed to be thought. I can't live like that. Um, and she basically said, which is I can almost say without rolling my eyes or laughing, that she thinks alien humanity is all demons. No, no, it's not. No, it's not. If anything I've seen comes to be, and considering our government is telling us to basically brace yourself, right? Um, like the government knows, the president knows, President Macron knows, Benjamin and the global leader, the global leaders of the world know a messianic era with the Messiah of Israel is here, and that it's just a matter of time before that event takes place. That's what the energy suggests. And listen, I'm not making any prophecies. I'm not saying, you know, I'm anything super special. I've been transparent for 20 years. I have clairvoyant, rare humanity phenomena, rare abilities, rare phenomena as a clairaudient, clear science, clear sentence, clairvoyant, clear, oh God, all the clairs. There's so many energy healer. You guys, I've been talking about this for 20 years. I run a results-based business. I would have to justify my prices. And let me tell you something. The rabbis who do what I do are hundreds into the thousands of dollars that do not have rare phenomena. They don't. You're getting their opinion for $500 a 30-minute session. It's barbaric. And I'm telling you, I think we are going to see so much clarity in the upcoming, days, weeks, months, so much clarity as to what the truth of a lot of things are. Like, what is the entire truth about religion, right? Of course, the government knows. If they know the Messiah is here, which I believe they do, I believe they do, just because everybody except Iran is on their best behavior. You can't, the Taliban's always going to be the Taliban until they're moksha mode once and for all, please God. Iran, there's a song I like. It's like, if you want to F around, I'd love to help you find out. Oh, you're about to find out. Listen, Iran with Hamas, the Hamasketeers, the Al Qaedas, the Talibanians, the stupids, the evils, the evil, wicked, and stupid people that have grossly raped and molested this world and Islam itself, these horrible people. I truly believe that we are going to see a miraculous slaying of this evil. I really do. I've dreamt it. I see it in visions. I really think these people are coming to an end. These people are always going to fuck around. They're always going to find out. Always. And I will never give up on the hope of redemption. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. There's two reasons why I'm never going to give up on the hope of redemption that are aside from the unwavering belief that we are going to live in the messianic time, being governed by the Messiah of Israel. I've always believed this, but why do I hold on to it so dearly? Two reasons. There was a little girl who was murdered when I was 21 years old in Brooklyn, in Brownsville. And the murder shook my life, a little 6-year-old girl. And I had a dream about a year ago, and I had seen this child in visions, and she looks like this little girl, just an adorable little like Spanish girl with brown hair, bright brown eyes, just the cutest little thing. Spanish looking complexion, beautiful child. And she was in she was just like engulfed in light. And this little girl came to me and said, "Hi, Yael." I said, "Hi." She goes, "I'm Naomi." And I said, "Oh my gosh, are you Nick's Mary Brown?" And she said, "Yes. But on this side, they call me Naomi." And I said, "Hi, Naomi." She said, "Hi." She goes, "So I was talking to Hashem. And when the TSM Mason comes, he said, I can go home with you." That dream I will hold on to forever until it happens, and I'll pray for it. Because the death of that child shook the foundation of my life as a 21-year-old girl. Shook the foundation of my life. And the second reason I cannot and will not ever give up on the unwavering belief and unwavering prayer for Mashiach, the reason I will never give up, Afghanistan, the women and children and men and women, the men, women, and children of Afghanistan who fought so hard for their freedom. They fought so hard. They did so much to just have 20 years of progress flushed away in a matter of days. Because I know the only slayer of this evil is Mashiach. And I think Mashiach is so real that I think we believed him onto the earth. I really do. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it's a false alarm. I think the government is disclosing information because the government knows something biblical, of biblical proportion, of biblical magnanimity, biblical wonder, like the reveal of the Holy Messiah of Israel and the standing of the Beis Hamikdash, the third and final holy temple, and the resurrection of the dead in the Sanhedrin. They would have to know something that serious is coming for them to behave so well. Our government and the governments of the world have never been better behaved. Iran is stupid. They're always going to fuck around and find out. Let them. Let them die for this. I don't care. I don't care about the evil Iranians. May God have mercy on and shelter and shield over every single innocent Iranian person and to show them the miracle of Messiah, because these people have been starved of rights. Meanwhile, we have Pakistan. Amak Shamo to Pakistan. Can we burn it to the ground and like everybody who makes decisions there? So we have Pakistan brokering or trying to be the go-between and broker a deal between the United States, Israel, and Iran. Now let's talk about Pakistan and what makes them disgusting and why we should hope for them to be in moksha mode, not the innocent people, obviously, of Pakistan, but the criminals that are so plentiful of Pakistan. Most recently, a young girl went to report a rape, and basically, this is what happened. I read about it. You can't make this shit up. And this is the country, by the way, that we're going to have broker a peace deal. Are you fucking joking? Please. Pakistan goes, oh, well, the rapist said he didn't rape you, so you're a liar. And to punish you for being a liar, we're going to extract revenge on you and have your brother rape you. That was Pakistan. Famous case. Look it up. I can't ever give up on the unwavering belief of the Messiah of Israel coming to kill this evil dead. I'll tell you, I was watching a documentary. No, I'm sorry, it was a podcast. And they had this gentleman from Texas. I can't think of his name. He's part of the Texas Rangers, or was he's this the Texas Rangers, forgive me, in human trafficking rescue. And if I can find the podcast, I'll text it below. I'll put it in the bio link to this episode because I just thought it was so interesting to hear what a professional who specializes in rescuing children in human trafficking situations had to say. But now you have to remember, this is a Christian man from Texas, right? And he goes, so the podcast host goes, so what's the solution, to end human trafficking? He goes, Jesus, the Messiah. Now, obviously, we as Jews have different beliefs, but I'm saying why else would a Christian person say anything differently? He could have said anything. This is a person who has ample experience in rescuing children in hellacious situations. Hellacious. That was his response. He basically said, his interpretation or version of the idea of the Messiah. That's what he said. And I would tell you no different. It's going to take Mashiach. That's why I can't, if Chas v'shalom, if you even tell me Mashiach's not here, I can't believe you. I can't believe you. I actually cannot believe you. I know you're not right. But even if God forbid you were, I can't believe you because this shit goes on. So yeah, I think it's entirely possible we about to see some biblical shit go down, like Ezekiel shit, like fire in the sky, the wrath of God, fire and brimstone, sulfur, the whole business. I think what we're going to see for the Amalekites and the abominable and the evil, wicked, and stupid, those who are not able to be healed, I think we're Sodom, like Sodom and Gomorrah, like the Lot's wife situation, is going to look like a Girl Scout birthday party compared to the shit show about to come from the sky for the evil people onto this planet with the reveal of the Holy Messiah. I think our government knows that. What do you want to bet they're going to release every single piece of religious, alien, and otherwise information in the next few months? People are tired of being lied to. And I think whatever is about to, which is our Messiah, I think our Messiah has Donald Trump on a short leash. I really do. There's nothing you're going to say to me that would make me believe these people don't know shit. With the amount of money they have, listen, it hasn't been in a while, but I have dated some very wealthy people, ladies and gentlemen, in my day, in my early 30s, in high 20s, 29, let's say 29 through 32, dated some very wealthy people. They buy information. It's for sale. And let's just call a spade a spade. CERN, a Makshimo, may God pour his wrath all over that shit. CERN has even said we're looking for the God particle. Wow. Why? What if they found it? They wouldn't make that front page news, I bet. But I bet that information's for sale. Bet it is. Think it is. Because I heard it was. And listen, I've dated some people with real cash money. All right. Not in years. Not in years. I'm not bragging about anything that went on recent. And obviously, let's be honest, I don't have any rings on my finger. None of these people married me, but they shared with me. And I'm telling you, our government knows a lot more about the truth of a lot of things than we are being told. My sincerest and deepest prayer is that this all truth will come to the surface, especially regarding extraterrestrial life, because this is ridiculous. And let's say that I'm right in my theory that these are people of another planet that are creations of God. Like, they deserve respect, especially if they have higher, hold on one. Uh, Very says, I think you're maybe ahead of your time. People don't want you telling the truth unless you're hurting it's hurting their life. I definitely don't agree with everything you say, but you do, however, touch on some points people need to hear. Keep being you. Yeah, I thank you, dear. Mwah. And listen, honey, I'm not saying anything like I'm sharing to you what the energy suggests and what I've seen. I want to make that very clear and where my accuracy numbers are. It's so I could agree with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with everything I say, but when it happens, I'm like, ah, shit. You know what I mean? Like and here's the thing. I think at one point in time, okay, I think you were right. You could have been right, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't think I'm ahead of my time now. I think people are so sick of being lied to. We have to remember the world is so much bigger than what the Jewish community shows us it is. The world is so much bigger. And people are so tired of being lied to. They're so effing sick of being lied to. Totally. I totally think people have just had it. And like the government's like, okay, we've got people coming up and, talking about anomalies flying in and out of the ocean because there's obviously extraterrestrial something going on down there. Probably is. And I think we're going to have a lot of truth because I've seen some governments behave so well recently that we'd have to be going through a miracle. We'd have to be. I just have a very hard time believing that everything we've seen that's extraterrestrial is really here to hurt us when there's more to suggest it's here to help us and bring us into a higher state of collective and a higher consciousness. And listen, I am all for people living, all right? Um, God is the giver and taker of life, the judge, jury, and executioner, man. That's Hashem. That's our God. And if what I see happens and people, perish, I can only imagine that those were people that God had a deeper understanding than, you or I will. Listen, I have foreseen thus far in Detroit alone the two terrorist attacks that we have had launched against us back to back. I warned the rabbis. We've got in one case, I warned of the terrorist attack the day before. So believe me when I tell you, honey, when I write about these things, with the exception of the unwavering belief of Mashiach, when I'm right about a terrorist attack, it doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? Oh, totally, honey. The truth is scary. Yeah, and your son's a PhD. That's so awesome. Your son's a PhD. Um, They're truths that scare us, but I think that it's, that song by the Fugees with Lauryn Hill, Ready or Not, Here I Come, You Can't Hide. So, yeah, I think that's where we're at. I think it's a ready or not situation. We're about to find out. You know what I mean? Girlfriend, we're going to find out. We're going to find out, I think, soon. The things that I truly feel are coming for us. First of all, we're talking about the coming of the Messiah. So for the yous and the me's, this is excellent news. For the good people of the world, this is excellent news. This is a world without the bullshit that keeps us down as a society. I mean, and we can't have our government lying to us. Look at all these scientists. Isn't it amazing? All of these missing scientists, these people are going bananas. Um, Listen, I've picked up from David Wilcox. I'm accurate with things, and I don't talk to the dead. This is just what I've heard. Um, you have to understand something. The David Wilcox of the world, the scientists of the world who went into the military for this, these are my people. You know what I mean? These are my science people. I just embrace the science in a much different way. My father, Avashalom, started off as a Detroit police officer who then joined the U.S. Marshals, then the FBI, and we believe there's possibility of the CIA, but we're never going to know about the CIA. We're never going to know. Whereas I took the path of a healer. So these science people, these are like the people I care about. I totally care about these people, 100%. And the fact that it's like, honest to God, sweetie, it's like these truths and the truth, it's going to come forward whether even I'm ready for it. And I'll tell you, like, in my person, I'm so not doom and gloom. I'm talking about skincare all the time. I am trying to open a thrifting business with my son who just has like impeccable taste in fashion. Like, we are not doom and gloom people. And I think that's probably what it took me so long to become comfortable in where my abilities are actually at. Because for so long I saw doom and gloom, but I've switched my perspective where I'm like, I believe in the Torah of everything. I believe in the God of everything. And I know that this Sefer tells me a Messiah is coming to save me with the Beis Hamikdash and the resurrection of the dead, and I believe Ezekiel. And on that note, you guys, I'm going to wish you an absolutely, totally, totally amazing night. Um, Before I hop off, I just want to say that this job, first of all, for the people who follow me and have followed me for years, thank you for giving me a job. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for being there for me and supporting me. It's like I can't even begin to tell you. I pray for you people every single day. I really do, because I'm just so in awe of the amount of trust that has like been placed in my hands. And when people believe the information coming out of my mouth, it's just it matters to me. We just concluded, my team and I at the Jewish Illuminati, our seventh missing persons case. Now, this was a happy ending. Some of them are sadly not. But thank God this family is on a road to recovery. Please God, the missing who is now found will have miracles that he needs to turn his life around. Please God, may Hashem wrap that family in Hashem's arms and heal them. But nobody at the Kosher Intuitive is turned away because of an inability to pay. We always find a way to make your session work. And with that said, that comes at a loss of my parnasa. So if this work touches your heart, if what I do matters to you and you feel compelled to give your Meiser money to us, I would, with humbly appreciate it because it enables me to continue to say yes to the people who really don't have any money, and who need the services badly. And there's even times where even though full price is $350 for your initial session, and then 175 an hour after that, I will always work on a sliding scale for those who qualify. And missing people, the support of missing people, that is a donation-based service. Donation-based means they can choose to donate, they can choose not to donate. And we at the Kosher Intuitive and Jewish Illuminati will assist this family for free if need be, because nobody deserves to have a family member missing without support. And I'll tell you, with our last case, I'm so proud of this mother. Um, she did not need me to tell her not to pay a fraudulent ransom. I was so proud of her because I've had other parents where I can tell you if someone called in with a ransom, they would have paid it. And I was so proud of her that I did not have to tell her. She was just a rock star. Like, I'm telling you, this family, I just wish them the best, the best, the best. Thank you so much. That is your episode on the Kosher Intuitive. I'm sure as more alien information comes out, we're going to talk about this ad nauseum. The next episode is going to be about the villain I love to hate and his domestic partner, the god-awful Amak Shemo, Mark Zuckerberg, and his domestic partner, Priscilla Chan. So I don't call her his wife, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's A, it's to be a bitch, but B, um, they act like domestic partners. They don't act like married people. I know people who know these people. I've, once upon a time dated some big names. They're garbage. And what Facebook is, and what Facebook could have been, and the things that Mark Zuckerberg is involved in, and his ties to Epstein. On the next episode of the Kosher Intuitive, we are going to talk about, when it comes to Mark Zuckerberg and his lady, what does the energy say? How bad are they? Are they misunderstood or downright evil? We're going to get on that the next episode. You guys, thank you so much for listening. As always, God bless you. If you need me, I'm here. Email me, yaelmeisels@gmail.com, on all the socials. Yael Meisels, God bless. Peace out. Take care. Have a good night.